switch back to my. Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Spicy Season Sisters podcast. I am Renette, aka the Next Level Chick.
I'm Latoya Frazier, your CEO partner.
I'm simply Tammy, your inspirational spicy coach.
I'm Coach Gail Benson, your favorite certified cognitive behavior coach.
All right. So this is actually episode 22. Woo, 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 woo.
Yes,
Woo,
yes.
22. We're super excited about it. And so today we're starting a very, very important topic. This is going to be a 3-part series, and then we're going to have something special to come behind this. So you want to make sure that you show up to each one of these podcasts. And this is called Getting Your Ish Together. Ish is aligning your intentions, spirits, and habits for real change. As we get into this spicy season, we should be changing for the better. We have made a declaration that our latter shall be greater than our beginning. And so with that being said, we want to make the change, but are we truly aligned with our intentions, our spirit, and our habits? In this powerful packed episode, we are breaking down 3 pillars that silently run our lives. And we don't realize it many times, but that's what's happening. When your intentions aren't clear, your spirit is cluttered, and your habits are inconsistent, it's no wonder why progress feels like a struggle. It's time for us to get our ish together, because success isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more. It's about becoming more aligned. It's about talking about intentions that we stick to, that we nurture in our spirit, so that it fuels instead of us. And it's about buildings that actually support our goals. In this episode, this is for the woman who is tired of starting over and ready to evolve from the inside out. Tonight, specifically, we will be talking about intentions. So with that being said, we're going to talk about intentions, because a lot of people talk about, oh yeah, I have intentions, I'm gonna set intentions. But what are intentions? Are they like goals? Do they fit in the same space and place? What is the difference between a goal and an intention? And so if I could start out, is that okay, ladies?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I truly believe that when we set goals, we are setting something that is more to our future, something that we want to see, this outcome that we want to see. But when we have intention for it, it makes it more possible. It makes it more pliable, because as we set the goal, we are going to a destination, that thing that we want to do, that weight loss, that better business, whatever it is. But when we set the intention, that doesn't just take us to a destination, it gives us a direction. It gives us more of a how to. And a lot of times, if we have that how to do that, it is going to help us to move forward faster and clearer as we move to our goals. So, as we move forward to set these intentions, what did you all want to say? How do you feel about the differences between goals and intentions?
I can speak to that. So for me, my goals consist of dates, like a timeline. So what is it that I want to accomplish and by when? So when I set an intention, so there's this book that I use to set intentions. It's called One Word, and some of you may be familiar with it. And it's what's your one word intention? And my one word for this year is consistency. So I need to be more consistent in certain areas of my life. So, what is it that I need to be consistent in? I'm, making a mental note of that. But when it comes to my goals, it's a little bit different for me where I'm actually setting specific things in place with dates and a timeline, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. And Latoya, that one word intention, that's really big.
Yes.
I'm big on that, and I believe in setting words. And so as you set the one word intention, you have your goals, but a lot of times we write those goals down and we never look at them. Some people never look at them again.
Right.
Sometimes people start real good. We are great at starting, but finishing doesn't happen. But because she set that one word intention, consistency, that is going to help her to move forward in her goal. And I'm super big about setting one word intentions. What are your words for the year? Anybody else want to comment on that?
Well, I was writing some notes here while you were talking. Intentions, of course, you come up with an idea, and it's your intention to move forward with this idea, which is totally different from setting a goal. And we come up with a vision of something we want to do, and it's our intention to make it happen. Usually those intentions are aligned with our values. Okay. And there has to be a thought process that goes into that intention, which leads us to a purpose. And then you have to set the goals in order to accomplish the intention. Does that make sense?
It does.
Oh, totally.
Okay.
Totally.
And so the backside of that is that you have to stay focused on the intention in order to reach the goals for the intention.
Correct. That focus is very important because when we talk about intentions are really for the moment. That we're in the moment, we're in the present, as opposed to when we set the goals, that's more of a future. We're looking for something that's down the line, even if it's a month, even if it's a week later, 2 years later. That's more of the goals. But when you set the intention, you talking about the present. Even though it's a year later, you still can be getting things together and knowing what you're going to do. You got to consistently work for that year to make it happen. Right. And then a lot of people, what are your intentions for the week? So like you said, it's a lot of focus on that. I love that, Tammy. That's amazing. Gail, did you want to comment?
Yes, I'll chime in. I like what you all said about having that word that defines how you're going to move for progress. For me, my word this year is learning. Every time something happens, it doesn't have to be happening to me. My question is, okay, what am I going to learn from this? And when we talk about intentions and being very intentional about these new visions that we see for ourselves, or we popped up this top of the year, new year, new me, all these mantras, and we intend to accomplish all these things. My biggest question, to people is, but what are you willing to do different? Because do you intend to do things the way you've always done them and still be in the same place that you are today? Or do you intend to be flexible and pliable and learn new things and new tools on how to get these goals accomplished? Because sometimes we get uncomfortable that we have a vision, and sometimes It's visions and ideas we've never had before. So we have to think outside of what we've always done. Because if we look at where we are, what we've always done has gotten us where we are right now. And we've probably been here before. So we want to do something different. We want to do something different so we can have different outcomes. But the biggest question is, what are we willing to do so that we can have movement, we can have progress with these intentions? We have to be able to move a little different, be in different rooms, speak to different people, meet the perfect stranger,
Right.
execute differently than we've done before, so that we can see things that we've never seen.
I
But
love it.
Dale, you know that goes to mindset too, and
Yeah.
understanding who you are and how you are able to move. And so you're right about that. And if and we get back to fear and habit,
Mhm.
then that can keep us stagnant
Absolutely.
and keep us in the intention, and we never reach the goal.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, and I love that. But with those intentions are really more action oriented. You know, we have the goals and the things we want to do, but the words that we set for intentions and goals have a lot to do with each other, because you
Mhm.
have intentions, we have intentions, which a part of that is goal setting, and then we have along with those intentions, if you set those intentions and you have those words that are going to move you, now you're looking for different opportunities in that space and place, right?
Mhm.
And then, as we just talked about the fear, when you have intention, I think that removes a lot of fear, because intentions are more action oriented. Like I have words such as oh yes ma'am, I have I have my words for this year have been, my first word is advance. I do plan to advance, and I feel like I have advanced from day one. You know, I felt my other word was elevate. I've elevated, and that's been through the help of you all. And then also separated. That's another thing that I felt like I needed to separate from some stuff. And so through that, I have more consistency, which is one of my words. And then all of that, the advancement, the elevation, the separation, the consistency has helped me to move in my truth of what I really want to do. It's helping me
That's
to
that's
move
good.
closer to my higher self and my
Right.
true self, my true
Right.
calling. It doesn't
Right.
allow me a time to really play. So like when people are calling on the phone and they want to talk for 2 and 3 hours, I'm really intentional. I just
Yeah.
don't have. It's not that I don't want to talk to people, but I'm on a mission right now, and
Right.
so because I have these intentions set in my head, and every day I'm waking up and I'm saying, "Ooh, time to advance. What's the advancement for this week? What's the elevate? How am I elevate?" Like, and then something that I see that's maybe not going like it. Ooh, I got to separate myself from that. I'm not
Yeah.
doing no level
Yeah.
conversation. I'm not doing ignorance. I'm not doing stupidity. I'm not doing foolishness. So anybody that want to talk about that or bring that to me, I don't care who you are, mama, sister, brother, cousin, you can't
Mm.
bring it because I'm not gonna be bothered.
Get
Right.
somebody
I
else
ain't
to
got
do it.
3 hours to talk to
Get
nobody.
somebody else to do it. Listen, listen. I be in meetings all day. I ain't trying to be on the phone for no foolishness.
That part right
I
there,
ain't, I
but
ain't got it. I promise I don't have it. Please, please
and,
don't.
and when you
Mm-mm.
have intentions and you are intentional about your group or your circle, as we are intentional about one another, and we
Right.
are about elevating and being consistent and going to our next level and doing what we're needing to do,
Right.
we don't have time, and don't not one of us have slacked off since we started this,
Right.
because we have people that are around us that are intentional, and that's why our feet are not planted in the same place they were this time last year. We're
That's
moving
correct, Carla.
because
Yeah.
we are so intentional. Yeah, let's see what the audience is saying, y'all. Let's get
Yeah.
them.
Carla said something great.
What did she say? Let's
That's
see.
amazing.
What
You
did
have
it
to
say?
step out of your comfort zone, take a chance, risk, meaning take a chance and step out of fear. You never know if the next strategy, intention will work for you or not.
Absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely.
that is it.
Yeah. Some of us
I
stay
like that.
stuck because we get comfortable, in certain spaces and places. So we get comfortable and we don't move forward because of fear, right?
Absolutely. And
Absolutely.
I think those one word actions, one word thing that brings about the action. And the
Right.
thing that stops fear is movement, is
Yes.
action. Because
Action.
you can't, we a lot of us have faith, and a lot of people say, I don't know how y'all believe, but a lot of people say that faith and fear cannot operate in the same space. I've heard
That's
that
right.
over and over. I don't agree with that though, because it's a
I don't
lot of
agree. I disagree.
with
Okay.
fear, but we continue. We have the faith.
Yeah.
We still move. We
We
fearful.
still move. Yeah, we do.
Nervous. I don't believe I've never faith and fear can't operate at the same time. But because you have that faith to me also is an action word. Faith is a word, a declaration. It's a word of like, I gotta make this happen. It's like when you have that faith, you decree, declare, and decide that it is going to happen. I don't care about this fear.
It's
This
a
fear
manifestation. Yes.
me.
It
Yes,
is.
it's a manifestation.
Yeah.
So yes, when people tell y'all you can't be fearful and do that, yes, you can. How many things have you done scared? How many
The
times?
majority of everything. We do scared. At least I do. I'm gonna step out and say I do. And when fear and faith are in the same room together, sometimes that fear kind of overtakes everything. But they say you only need faith the size of a mustard seed, and y'all know how
That's
small a
right.
mustard seed is.
See, it is.
So although that fear may be a giant, you
Mhm.
only need a small bit of faith, right?
Right.
To navigate. So yes.
Absolutely. And also a part of, like, if you have those intentions and you have that action, that consistency, that elevation, that separation, all the things that you are announcing or intending to do, if you focus that more than the fear, it's gonna move the fear out of the way. Fear can't operate.
Yes, you cross over that line.
Right.
When you are on those intentions and your feet are planted and you intend to do something. Now, what can derail the intentions and get in the way? We got to talk about that, because one of the things I know that could derail those intentions are distractions. And
Right.
like I just said, talking on the phone.
Right.
If you're not accomplishing nothing or talking about anything, and you just on the phone 2 hours, and I don't want to be talking on the phone and you talking, girl, sit down. I don't have time to be dealing with that.
Yeah.
Girl, I'll call you back. I got to go.
Yeah.
That part.
Well, Quee put in the in this season, I'm doing so many things scared. We have to.
Right.
And we applaud you for that, because I am too.
If we didn't do them scared, we wouldn't get anything accomplished, right?
Right.
And that's what happens. A lot of people don't do it scared. And that's one of the reasons why we have Spicy Season Sisters, because we want to help people to, a lot of times when you going through stuff, you feel like, oh my God, you feel like it's only you. You feel like nobody else understands. But we are more alike than different.
Yeah. Right.
All of us have been through. If anybody could sit up and say, well, I say I ain't never scared, but I'm talking to myself. Whether I'm scared or not, I ain't never scared, because I'm going to move past that scare. It's not going to hold me back. It's not going to hold me down. I know what they say, ain't nobody going to hold me down. And whatever that song is, I'm not going to be held down because of fear, because of, of being scared, because of something somebody has spoken over me. And I've gotten very good about letting people know, you're not going to speak that over me. I have intentions and I'm going to step into them. And I can stop people real quick, fast, in a hurry. When you have intentions, you don't let people tell you, girl, you are always late. Girl, what? Oh, you don't know me. And somebody was telling me this week, talking about, girl, ooh, ain't that you? Ooh, I'm so tired. Oh, I'm so tired now. I said, oh, that's who I used to be. You don't know me no more. You know me. But because I have these intentions in my, I don't really care what people say or how they say it. I intend to hold on and walk in those intentions, which is helping me to fulfill the goals and the things that I want to do.
Right.
And that's how we've been able to move forward in this spicy
Right.
season that we're in, because we aren't going to get caught up in those things.
Right.
So yes. So
Right.
Nice.
with that being said, are your intentions rooted in your values or your fears? Or maybe it's a little bit of both. Let's talk
Maybe
about it.
it's both. It's
Yeah.
both. People mindset is when they speak, you hear their value. You can see and hear their value system. If that makes sense. And I lost my thought.
It's
Oh,
okay.
many.
It happens.
I lost it.
Well, I mean, while you're thinking about that, Tammy, what I believe is, as I
Oh,
said
I got it.
intentions.
Go ahead.
Well, let me let you go while you remember.
Well, no, where it was leading was to a sense of purpose. Okay.
Mhm.
A sense of purpose, and I'm not exactly sure how to piece this together, but you have to have a sense of, you have to feel a sense of purpose, have a sense of purpose in the intentions in order for progress to happen.
Mhm.
Um, consistency and focus, that's so important. And write these things down, because it has to happen that way. And you can't just think something and think it's going to move on its own. It's not.
Yeah.
It's definitely not.
But you have to be, when we're talking about intentions, intentional, and working in it, working through it, pushing.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right.
And with that being said, with the intentions, is it rooted in fear or values? To me, if you set the right intentions, they should not be rooted in fear. You might be fearful, but as I say, I'm advancing. I'm not scared of advancing. As I say, I'm elevating. I know that I'm getting ready to go to new levels, even though it may be smaller steps. I'm still going to elevate. When I say I'm going to separate, like I'm separating from people, all of it, even though it may sound scary, because I've set that intention. If I say I'm going to be consistent, like I said this year, I got to be consistent. I'm not falling out. I don't care what. I don't care what happens, come what may. I'm going to get up and I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing and being consistent. When I say we're being consistent and very intentional with Spicy, we're really doing that because we've made a decision. And it is a commitment. When you have an intention, it is not just a goal. It is not just this destination that we have set. It is it's a whole direction. So yes, we have a destination, but that direction is taking us on the journey. That direction is, we going down the road, we doing things. It may be some twists and turns, but we're still going in a direction. We're still being guided by those words, like she said, consistency. Like we said, we're gonna move forward in elevating. Okay, we're gonna continue to press towards the mark of the higher calling because of the intentions. Even though you have the goals, that don't mean you're gonna be trying to press towards it. You say, well, I'm trying to get this done. I'm hoping to get this done. But when you are intentional, you don't put those words. I hope. I think. I know it's done. We're speaking like it is already done. Like it is
positive affirmations. Yes.
It's already done. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Right.
And so when
because you can't co-sign, you can't co-sign your own BS and give yourself a backdoor to not do it by implanting those little words that you'll look forward to. Because if you don't do it, if you have that mindset, you've already set yourself up to fail. So when Renette talks about moving forward and pushing forward, I'm going to always ask you to, because the greatest conversation you're going to have with all these intentions that you're going to do is going to be with yourself, because you are the one that's going to do the work. And what are you going to lean into? Are you going to lean into who you were, or what you're looking forward to becoming, and who you're going to be? You've been that. You don't have to keep looking in the mirror. You don't have to keep looking behind you, because you've lived that. Someone told me the story about and I don't know his name. I don't quote me. I don't know this man's name. All I know, the man climbed Mount Everest for the first time, and they asked him, "Would you do it again?" And he had the perfect response was, "Why would I?
Yeah.
How you
I've
do?
done that already."
Yeah.
We watched that show.
Yeah.
We've seen that scenario. We're not looking into who we were. You have to focus on what you're becoming and who you're trying to be and who you're going to be, and what pathways are you planting for yourself to become that thing, other than planting back doors for you to back out and co-sign your BS as to why you didn't do it. Because and some people, it's just subconsciously, it's a habitual thing that people will do, because they'll put a but in there, or I may, or I hope, I'm trying. No, those are all segues for you to back out. Quit putting
Yeah.
in those back doors to co-sign yourself to not succeed. You have to be mindful of what you say to yourself. I've said it before. Your words are loyal soldiers. When you say something, it is going to follow that order. And when you end up and you find yourself at certain places, and you say, "How did I get here?" I need you to go to the nearest mirror and
Oh,
look at
yes.
yourself in the
Oh, boy.
mirror, because you ordered yourself in that place. We have got to be more cognizant of what we say to ourselves. Quit backing out. No more buts. Do it.
Listen, I'm over here laughing, y'all. I'm chuckling because I know me, and I've shared this before. That I know I need an accountability partner, because I will, if I don't tell somebody that I'm going to do something, then I'll be like,
Mhm.
okay, it's okay. Don't nobody know, right?
Right,
And
right,
they
right.
say, don't
Mhm.
let, what is it the saying about don't be about shoot, I can't even think. I lost my train of thought about the weapon formed against you.
Be
Don't
your
let
own weapon
yourself
formed
Don't
be
be
against
the
you.
the weapon
weapon
Mhm.
formed
formed
against
against
yourself.
yourself.
There you go. I don't want to be the weapon formed against myself to prosper, right? So at the end of the day, I know that I need accountability. So I just have to own my ish. And I do. I really do. So if there's an intention or if there's a goal, I personally have to tell somebody, especially if it's something that I'm passionate about or that that's important to me, because if I don't tell anybody, or at least people that I know are going to keep me accountable, I don't need my accountability partner to say it's okay, because it's not okay. Because I need somebody that's going to hold me to the fire to make sure that I get it done. And that's not a huge task. That's just something that we do, from a personal perspective, from a business perspective. And I know me, if I don't tell nobody, I'm like, it's all right. Don't nobody know. So
Yeah, right.
if I don't get it done, it's all
Mhm.
right. But at the end of the day, for me, it's not okay. So I need my people, my tribe, to know what's
Right.
going on and what I have in terms of my goals or my intentions, so they can keep me accountable. I want them to say, Toya, how are you doing on that thing we talked about? You said you was gonna have it done, by June 1st. Where are you with that? And
Right.
and if I tell somebody, I'm like, okay, let me start working on this, because I know they're gonna ask me about it. So
Right.
I need to be able to give them an update.
Right.
And sometimes we have to pivot, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, we need to be accountable to each other, right? Professionally, personally.
Right.
And so when I reach out to y'all, I'll be like, okay, sis,
That's
I'm gonna do
important.
X, Y, and Z by this day, and I need you to keep me accountable. I need you to keep me accountable, because I'm gonna do the same for you. So yeah,
Well,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
want to. I
add
don't
to
want to be the
that.
weapon formed against myself to prosper. That won't prosper.
Yeah, I'm gonna add to that. I'm gonna add a little something. You have to have realistic intentions.
Absolutely.
Mm.
But
I'm
that's
not a
why
her.
they need to be one word. Because if you start making up all this stuff and adding all these words, then they become more not realistic. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But well, being realistic is, don't tell yourself you're gonna go out there and lift a 3-ton car. I mean,
Oh
don't tell
no.
yourself you're gonna go run track and jump a hurdle, and you darn well can't do that. Make your intentions
Realistic.
realistic.
Right.
But intentions, like I
Right.
said, that's more of a commitment to you. If we're gonna do certain things, is sometimes that's goals. But if we have that one
Mhm.
word intention that elevate, that whatever word you use, and it's one word, most of those words are not going to allow you, if you make that commitment to yourself and you've got an accountability partner. I'm not gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna elevate and I'm gonna sink back. I'm gonna shrink back. I'm gonna sit down." And I feel like when you make certain goals, those are more unrealistic as
Mhm.
opposed to intentions, because intentions are really a set of what you really like. You consistency. I don't, it may be, why it's unrealistic? If you say, I'm going to elevate, I'm going to advance, I'm going to be consistent, I'm going to get to my higher self. The only reason it's unrealistic because your mind is telling you that I'm not going to be able to do it. Oh, that's too much. I think it's what
Yeah.
a lot of that, as you said from the beginning, Tammy, it's mindset. Because when you set intentions, I don't believe most of the intentions are unrealistic. It's
Right.
the goals that are unrealistic. That's why it's really important that you set those. Don't just get them out of your neck, out of your butt. You need to freaking think about like what you're trying to do. And so
Yeah.
as you set those intentions and you looking at those goals and you say, I'm going to lose 35 pounds in the next 3 months. So you have that, you're saying that that is your goal. I'm getting ready to advance. I'm getting ready to elevate. I'm going to be consistent. Now, those are your intentions. So, as we think about the intentions and you call Susie and be like, Susie, girl, you coming today? Because we ready. Susie say, girl, I don't even feel like it. I'm tired. I ain't going to be going the next couple of days. Now, if you listening to your intentions, that I'm going to be consistent, I need to advance. You're not going to be caught up that Susie not coming, right? You're going to continue
Right.
to do what you're doing because you already made the commitment to yourself in your head, in your mind. All you feel is I got to advance. I
Yeah.
got to be consistent. So that Susie telling you she ain't doing it, Susie might not be committed. Maybe commitment is your word, but she ain't
Hmm.
Yeah.
committed. But she said she gonna lose the weight. She gonna do 35, whatever. But she just made a goal, but she ain't really got no intentions. I feel like if you don't have intentions, you waking up willy nilly all over the place. And I'm just going. When you wake up in the morning, are you setting intentions? Are you saying what's gonna happen for your day? Or you just getting up? Ooh, child.
Right. Right. Right.
Oh, I
Right.
don't
Right.
feel like getting up. I'm
One.
tired. I don't even feel like being bothered. So now you already talking about that's your that's what you saying for the day. That's what you speaking over yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
One
have
of my.
intentions that
I was.
things are coming together for me. It's working out for
Mhm.
my good.
One of my business accountability partners, she's a numbers girl, and she's always asked me, what's your income goal for the week? What's your income goal for the month? So we were talking one day about our goals, and like she knows her numbers on a regular basis. She can spit them out to you, tell you what the goal, how close we are to that goal. So she was asking me, well, what's your goal for the week, right? What's your goal for the month? What's your goal for the year? So when I gave her my goal for the year, she was like, oh, that's good, but you can do better than that. She was like, you can do better than that. So I'm thinking, okay, this is a stretch goal for me. And she says, no, based on what you do, you can do better. I need people like that in my life, right? Where they're
Mhm.
pushing me past my
Mhm.
comfort zone. So, that
Mhm.
brought us to a conversation where it says, okay, here's the goal, here's my goals in terms of getting to that number. But she says, okay, I think you can do better than that. So what do you need to put in place to make that happen? So that's what we're doing right now. So she's always like, what's your goal? What's your goal for the day? What's your goal for the week? I need that accountability in my
Or
life,
your
right?
your
So
target
push me
goal. Yeah.
past my
Mhm.
comfort zone, right?
Yeah. Okay. I got
Yeah.
you.
That's raising. We don't even have a comfort zone. That's she raising the bar. You
Raising
raising
the
the
bar.
bar. You moving forward. You
Hmm.
advancing, and then on top of that, y'all talking about it on a regular basis. So now that consistency, that intention that you set, that is happening.
And she
So
gonna ask me, how are you doing towards that goal, right? So I'm over here working to make, because I know she gonna ask me, right? So I'm trying to make some things happen on my end. So when she asked me, I got a good progress report, but she's keeping me accountable because I know she's going to ask. I know she's going to ask. So it's making
So
me,
that
it's
being
helping me
said,
not only with
Latoya,
my
I
goal,
really
but it's
wish
also helping me with my intention of my one word of consistency. So in order for me to meet that goal, I need to tap into my intention, which is consistency, because that's all I need to do is be consistent with the things that I'm doing to hit that goal.
Wow.
right.
Yeah.
How do distractions and people pleasing pull you away from your intentions? I know you recovered, Latoya, but
Ooh, child, let me take a long
still
sip.
struggling with this.
I want to read what Carla made something about, said us something in here about the distractions. And she was saying that you speak it into existence, believing it's going to happen. Changing your thought processing is the key. Speaking words. I'm not going to accomplish the goal no matter what distractions, obstacles, or delays try to block me or interfere in my day. I will stay on track and keep flowing like the river in
I love
peace.
it.
Yes.
And these are the things that all behind that is,
I got it.
that's
Take
a
a
whole,
Okay,
that's a
Carla.
whole ministry. That's like a
Yes.
whole
Yes,
sermon,
we love it.
when,
that is
I
good.
when we
love it.
set these goals, we
Yes.
have to keep in mind and be ye prepared. Because
Yes.
if we set these goals and act like distractions are not going to come up and obstacles are not going to come our way, we ain't fooling nobody but ourselves. We have got to be prepared and steadfast, even though these things do present themselves. How steadfast are we? How bad do we want to achieve, our goals so that we can push past the obstacles, so we can get over the hump, so we can go over it, under it, around it, or even through it? We have
Yes.
to plan, because obstacles are going to happen. We cannot use distractions to be deterred and allow ourselves to give up, because the first sign of friction or adversity, a lot of times people will listen to the negative, saying, I knew I shouldn't have tried this. I knew it's just always going to be something. And you know what? There will always be something. But the biggest question is, what will you do? What will you always do when something always comes up? Are you going to always quit? Because we don't have time to keep starting over. You don't have to start over if you don't quit. Push
That's right.
forward. Push through. Apply
That's why
pressure.
we go back
Press
to
past it.
That's why we stay in the
Yeah.
That's why you
but
have
we
a
need
support
intention
group. That's why you have a tribe. When you need help to press forward.
Well, Renette asked about people pleasing. And I'm such a giver. I just naturally do this. But I have learned to streamline that now. I know who I'm going to give to and who I'm not. I'm not going to waste my energy and time anymore. So I measure. And now I pay attention. And now it's muscle memory. So don't think the way I used to
Mm-hmm.
be is the way I am now, because I'm only going to give in a certain manner to certain people now. I know my tribe. I know my people. I know who used me, who didn't. Okay. There are
Mm-hmm.
measurements that have to go on in your thought process when you're and that was a I know Tori and I talked about this previously in other podcasts, but I intentionally set a goal. That goal was to not be used, not to be such a giver anymore. And I've reached the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I love my
Mm-hmm.
sister, so I'm gonna give to you all I freely want to. But there are people you can't do that with. So, but you have I like what Latoya said about having someone to hold you accountable. That's important
Yeah.
because some of us we can't put our own selves up, let alone uh uh so it's important that we have somebody that does yank us, that does pull on us, that does call, does say, that gets us to thinking more about what it was, the intention or the goal that whatever we were trying to accomplish.
You spoke her up, Latoya.
I know. Dakisha C. Williams. D, I don't know if you were on here. I was just saying about my accountability partner that's into the numbers, right? And then you hold me accountable, y'all. Keisha C. Williams, baby, she's the ish.
Real
She
deal,
holds me
baby.
accountable when it comes to the finances. She be like, "Let's go. What's your goal for the day? What's your goal for the week? What's your goal for the month? What's your goal for the year, the quarter?" Baby, she be on it. So I try to be on it because I know she gonna ask me, "How are you doing against that goal?" She know her numbers, and every day she's in the numbers every day. So it helps me because that's not something that I typically. I mean, of course, I look at the numbers, but not like she do, not like she does. But she holds me accountable to make sure that I'm looking at certain things, certain aspects in my business. I was telling them, Dee, when you told me, when you're asking me, like, what's your goal for the year? And I gave it to her. She was like, yeah, that's good, but you can do better than that. I'm like, well, oh snap. Let's go. Let's do it, So yeah, we don't play over here, baby. She holds me accountable. She holds my feet to the fire, and I love and appreciate her for that.
Oh boy. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I have another question. Have you ever achieved something and you wanted it so bad, only to realize that what you got was not really truly what you wanted?
Say that again, Renette. Say that again.
Have you ever achieved something that you wanted so bad, only to realize it wasn't what you wanted? And you realize, look, I just kind of did this willy-nilly. You ain't have no intention. I can definitely speak to that. So let's talk about that, because that happens. And a lot of times, we always talk about go, 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 go. Everybody's talking about goals, and they're great to have. But I believe that it's very important that you have some intentions with those goals. And that's how you get your ish together. We can have goals all day, but goals with no intentions, you can want a bigger house. You can want a husband, okay? You can want a new job, a business that's thriving. But do you want this? Like, let's talk about this thing, because I want to break this thing down real good and tell y'all.
Hey, Miss Ella.
But I did. Okay. So
break
anybody
it down.
Start?
Break it down.
Start?
Me too, Miss Ella.
Okay, so I shall start. So again, I said, have you ever achieved something only to realize it wasn't what you wanted? So I got plenty and many degrees, baby. I'm so degreed, okay? So degreed. And I am ABD, all but dissertation. Can I be like real honest? I finished all the classes and did everything and got to the third part, okay, of my dissertation. The first thing is, when I went to get my master's in business, got my master's in business, and we were kind of like a cohort thing at Nova. So everybody was like, yeah, we're going to go on and let's go on and get our specialists. Okay, get our specialists. And so I got with a group who chose reading and closing the gap, with the black and brown versus the white people. Now, why I got with that, I don't know, because I wanted to get these degrees, but that wasn't nothing I wanted to do. Okay. But I achieved it. I ended up achieving it, but I was a bit more interested. I made it through because I was with the group. I did my part, they did their part, but I made it through with the group. So then it was time for the doctorate. Girl, y'all, let's go on. Okay, let's go on. And so here we go again. They were getting ready to do the doctorate on the same thing. I had already achieved that specialist, but I knew when I achieved it, like, this really ain't interesting in me. Why did I freaking do this? So I got in this doctoral program. I finished my classes so quick and I had everything done. But that dissertation, when I got to that third part, I was at the point where I was getting ready to leave the school system. And now at this point, I had been in this dissertation for a while. So now it was either get this done or either open this school. I totally walked away from getting a doctorate, my dissertation, because it wasn't what I wanted. I achieved a specialist degree. Whoop-de-doo. Y'all know what I really achieved? A bunch of freaking student loans. Okay? Because I was following and doing stuff. I don't even know why I wanted it. And I got that specialist degree. Woohoo! I made $5,000 more when I went and opened a business, and I was making what I made in a year. I could make that in a month. So we
Yeah.
have to be very meticulous and intentional. I kind of was following the group. I wasn't following what my mom said. I wasn't really doing what I wanted to do, but I wanted to achieve it. And it was great that I achieved it, but I should have done something that I really wanted to do myself. So yeah, I achieved it, but I achieved a lot of loans on top of that I didn't need. And I was in a space and place, and I have that degree, but I'm not a bit more. I do want them to achieve and close the gap, but I ain't the person to do that.
Right.
So we can't do things just because, I wasn't trying to people please. I was just trying to get through, and I thought with the group, okay, I'm going to get it done. And I did get it done, but it wasn't really what I wanted. And it wasn't worth the time to me, and it wasn't worth the money. And the freaking student loans definitely wasn't. That's my story.
I won't tell mine.
Well, listen, I will tell you, for me, I had opened my business back in 2008. I was catapulted in it, was doing business for my brother, started consulting from there. I was that because it was what I knew how to do, and it was very easy for me to do. I knew about SOPs, standard operating procedures. I had been in corporate America since I was 18 years old. My mother was a corporate executive for Federal Express. That's what I knew how to do. Watching my mother, watching my parents, being on my job for so many years, I could do it with my eyes closed, but it was what I knew how to do, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. And at the time, I didn't know what I wanted to do. But when I touched what I wanted to do, then I knew that that's not what I wanted to do. When you get exposed, because people don't always know right away, because you start working towards and you have these goals, and then you start getting exposed to different things, and you start getting in touch with different people. So you start experiencing life through a different lens. So when it opened up for me, it was a painful process, but it was still, I had to go through that.
Right.
The journey to your purpose is not going to always be easy. But once
Right.
I
It will
touched
never
it,
be
once
easy.
I
Never.
knew, and ever, it is never going to be easy. But I promise you, once you touch it, you're going to always want it. You're going to want more of it. And when that happened for me, I was like, I wish I had known this sooner, but I had to take that back, because that meant that my mother would have had to die a lot sooner than she had, because I had to find my purpose through my mother's death. That's how God drove me through and to, and the key word there is through. He took me to it, and he got me through it. And
Yes.
I had no idea that that was my thing until I got into my thing. And God had been speaking to me since I was a child, because I would always be talking, 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 talking. Everybody asking Gail, talking, talking, talking. But I, it was it was frowned upon, that I was always talking to people, and things of that nature. But when I think about all the time that I spent doing what I thought I was supposed to do, starting a business, getting married, having kids, and anybody that know me and know that that previous situation, I didn't even want to get married. I just got married because the dude said he didn't care what I did. So I was like, oh, okay, then. I did what I thought I was supposed to do. Y'all know I still ain't found that act right, and it ain't found me, child. But
We know,
anyway,
sis. We know.
I don't think it's gonna find you.
a lot of people are living their lives on false realities, and their lives are becoming more fiction than nonfiction, because they're basing their life, their actions, and their goals based on what they think somebody says that that's what they're supposed to do. And they
Ooh.
start
Ooh.
thriving for these goals
I
and
was
stuff
just gonna say
that
that.
don't even match up to what they're aligned to do, because
Right.
they're living their lives according to other people's visions or experiences or other people's pain. And you'll never know what your purpose is. And you'll go through it and achieve all these things and you still feel void. You still don't feel like you tapped into living your life. So what do you do in order to find that part of you? What do you do to introduce yourself to you so you
Well,
know what
That
it
was the
is you're
question,
supposed to
though.
be doing?
That was the purpose of that question, Gail.
right.
Because
Yeah.
if you think about what you did and you achieved it, I think about what I did. But as we were doing it, half of the times that people do stuff, they do it and they achieve it, and like you said, you still feel void. But if you
Right.
had intentions, do you think it would have turned out differently? I know if I had intentions, I would have definitely done something different. But I was just going with the group, and everybody in that cohort, they got their doctorate, and I didn't. But I finally, I was okay with not getting it because I left and walked away from it. I had to make a choice, and I chose my business instead of trying to get a degree. And I was able to make more money because of it. I was intentional about the school and the plans that we had for it. And so that's why intentions are
Mhm.
so very important. And even in your
Yeah.
situation, Gail, as you think about it, and Latoya and Tammy, as y'all think about different things that you've done, if you thought about it and you really were intentional about it, would you have made those decisions? No, but
Right.
we got to go through some stuff. And I understand
Well,
that we got to go through some things. But a lot of stuff, if we get the intentions, it could turn out a lot better.
Yeah.
well, I'll tell you what, and I won't tell the story, but I'll say this. I had great intentions because I'm just an intentional person, you know. But there will be some things that come in and derail your intentions.
Yeah.
You can be a good person, you can do it all right, and something will come and whoop. And in my case, the good Lord said, "Hey, listen, hey, you, not, hey, uh, 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 I haven't showed you 4 times, 4 times. Yeah, you have good intentions, but you in the wrong space and place."
Ooh, that's a
And he
Mhm.
whole
grabbed
And
me,
it
but he
don't
grabbed
always
me
be
by
this
my
right here
shirt.
either.
Excuse me. He
Yeah.
grabbed me by my shirt and he picked me up and he sat my behind down. So then I didn't have a choice but to get my intentional self in line
Yeah.
with
Mhm.
a different and new me. And I needed to get back in line with who I really was and who, and, you know. So I'm not going to go into the story. You all know the story, but
You gonna tell
uh,
us that, child? You making the people like, oh my God, I want to hear. She
no,
gonna
no,
tell
no. It'll
us
be in the book.
today,
It'll be in
not
a book.
today. She'll go
But
put it out
I
there,
gotta
but
wait for the book, David.
yeah, but
Yes.
you know, your intentions can be good, but believe you me, I know. And that's why I'm where I am now because God refocused me. Now my
Yeah.
goals are
Mhm.
different.
Yeah.
right. And those intentions that you had, like you said, they got derailed when you get around the wrong people, the wrong tribe, the wrong things. They may be good, but they can easily get off track. That's why intentions are so rooted in being focused and rooted in like what you want to do, a commitment to yourself. Because when you commit to yourself, you don't get to that space and place to allow people to come and derail stuff. But sometimes, like she said, Tammy says she's a giver. All four of us are truly givers, and sometimes we can give too much. And so it is very important, especially as a giver, that you are intentionally committing to yourself. And that's why we wanted to talk about this. This is called Get Your Ish Intentions, Spirits, and Habits Together. So
Together.
we have totally talked about the intention part of it and what would your life look like if your intentions were led by your decisions every day? Because sometimes we have those intentions,
Yeah.
but we might hit them here and there. But if we were led by those decisions, those intentions every day, you will be like, if somebody come along and they did, I can't do that today.
There you go.
Even if you get a
Mhm.
little off track, you're gonna think about that. God, that is not that intention. And they
There
say
you go.
back on it because you
There you
make that
go.
intention and commitment to yourself. You can't get to your higher self when you doing what everybody else is saying. And like Gail said, you all your purposes. And somebody told how many people I know, 2 people that were engineers and they hated it
Right.
because the mama was, the daddy was, and they following in the footsteps. And now they
Right.
teach and they love it. So it's
Yeah.
about what you need to do. So
Yeah.
that's why your intentions have to be so intentional, right?
Right.
So
Right.
that you can really move forward to that thing. So I just love this conversation. I think
Beautiful.
it's been amazing. And as we continue to move forward next week, intentions, we're gonna be talking about your spirit. Because some
Yes.
people, ooh, that's a lot. So we're gonna be,
Baby.
like I said, it's a whole process, and it's a 3-part series. And on top of the 3-part series, one of the things that we're going to be bringing to y'all is a whole summit. Get your ish together. We're going to give y'all the dates. We're going to be looking for speakers, letting y'all know up front. But we'll be putting it out soon. Get your ish together.
What's it? Miss Ella?
Oh, the Keisha.
the Keisha C. Williams.
Just kind of letting y'all know a little early in the game that is coming. So that's great. We also got coming up, y'all. What's coming up on June 1st? Woohoo!
Fedoras and fire, baby.
Fedora fire.
Yes.
Yes, y'all. If y'all here,
Y'all get this already.
if you show up. It's in Orlando, Florida, June 1st, and it's about to be something. Y'all thought moo-moos and munchies and margaritas, that was real good, baby. This gonna be gooder than good. So you might want to show up to that.
Gooder, you said it's gonna be
I
good.
love it. I love it.
It's gonna be gooder than good. Then we gonna be, we're gonna be going to woo.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna
Woo.
yeah, woo.
Hey.
Woo. Okay, so we're gonna be there on June 7th.
Jeffrey Jr.
Yay! And then we'll be in Las Vegas. Woo! We got a podcast on the 24th in Las Vegas, y'all.
Yes.
If y'all know anybody in the area, y'all might want to let them know we coming, baby. And we bringing the what's the fire? We bringing the spice.
Ice.
Yes.
And we just picked up something for what? July. Lord Jesus. This
Wow.
happens when you're intentional, right?
Yes.
We've been so intentional. And so we just want to help everybody get in that space and place of being intentional. Yes, set your goals, but have intentions with those goals. That's
Yes.
how I big thing. Have
Amen.
intentions with those goals. So y'all check out our calendar of events so y'all can keep up with what's going on. Also, every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. EST time, y'all, we got to start telling people about this movement, because this ain't just something willy-nilly. This is something that's changing lives and helping people move forward and really be like on point and spicy about what they're doing and
What they're
whatever.
doing their lives.
Share
Correct.
this out. Let people know. Do it.
Yes.
Do it. Y'all have anything else y'all want to say as we get ready to? Congratulations, Spicy Sisters. May God thank you, Carla.
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody.
Thank you, Carla.
The Spicy Squad, we just love y'all so much, Lord.
Yes. Yeah.
Not only do that, but that ain't
We
stop.
get to do this because you are our phenomenal tribe and we love you.
Yes.
Thank you for just
Thank you for
participating
joining
and
us.
being in the chat where you always
Yes.
bring gems, you always bring the fire. So thank you for always being spicy with us.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yay! All right. Well, y'all have a wonderful evening. We'll be back same time, same place next week.
Yes.
Thursday, y'all bring a friend, bring some friends, bring your co-workers, your mama, sister, cousin, brother. Because some men be on here too. Y'all know that, right? It's okay. We could be man friendly sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just the girls, but you know.
Yeah. The men need to know about some of these
Yes,
things so they know how to
bring
deal
the
with their
brothers.
women.
Look, man,
Yeah.
Right. Gain an understanding.
Absolutely.
look what Miss Ella says. So wonderful, and I love to hear all of the goodness happening to the Spicy Season sisters.
Thank you, Miss Ella.
Thank you, Miss Ella.
She's
Thank
the
you.
best. I love her.
We love you, Queen. Thank you for
Love you,
coming
Queen.
in. That A1 Day one showing up.
Yes.
Love you too, Queen.
We love y'all all. Thank y'all. And y'all have a wonderful
Have a
evening.
wonderful night. Good night.
Keep it spicy.
Good night.